Thank you for joining us in today's Connection Point End Times News Briefing podcast. Today is Monday, August 26, 2024. Hope you're all doing well and having a wonderful and blessed day. As I'm sure many of you are aware of the tensions and the constant attacks that's happening in Israel on a daily basis and weekly basis, we're seeing how it has the right not only to defend itself, but also they do sometimes preemptive strikes so that they don't get attacked, because it's all a matter of time before more of this all-out war in all sides, the fronts, the north, the south, the east, all these other countries coming against them from Hezbollah, Hamas, and the Palestinians. So they're under always constant attack. Just yesterday, as many of you may know, as you're reading the news reports, Israel's military hit dozens of targets in Lebanon after it detected a militant group within Hezbollah that was preparing for an attack. So here's a news clip to show some of what has happened and what's going on. May we continue to pray for the protection of Israel. God bless.
Israel's military sent about 100 fighter jets to Lebanon, hitting dozens of targets in what it said was a preemptive strike on Hezbollah.
Israel will not tolerate Hezbollah's attacks on our civilians. We are operating in self-defense from Hezbollah and any other enemy that joins in their attacks against us.
Hezbollah said it launched a large number of missiles at northern Israel, as well as drones to attack targets deep in the country. The militant group said it was the first stage of its response to Israel's killings of one of their top commanders. Fears of a wider war had been growing in the region after a pair of Israel-linked killings in Beirut and Tehran, with both Hezbollah and Iran pledging to respond. Here's how tensions have escalated. The conflict in the Middle East has intensified since the Hamas-led attacks on October 7th. In which Israeli authorities say 1,200 people were killed and some 250 were taken hostage. In response, Israel launched an operation against Hamas in Gaza. It is also in conflict with the Yemen-based Houthi militia, which has vowed to strike Israel in support of Palestinians in Gaza. Israel has been exchanging fire with Hezbollah along its border with Lebanon. Hamas, Hezbollah and the Houthis are all backed by Iran. On July 19th, a drone strike hit Tel Aviv, the first attack of this kind on the city since the war in Gaza began. The Houthis claimed responsibility for the strike. The next day, Israeli jets struck several targets in the Houthi-controlled port city of Hodeidah in Yemen. It was Israel's first direct airstrike against Houthi rebels. Israel said it was acting in retribution for the hundreds of Houthi attacks against the country since October. A week later, on July 27th, a barrage of rockets flew over northern Israel, with one strike killing 12 young people in the Majd al-Shams community of the Israel-controlled Golan Heights. Israel and the US accused Hezbollah of carrying out the attack. Hezbollah denied involvement in the attack, but did claim responsibility for other strikes in the area on the same day.
And we will prepare for a response against Hezbollah.
The international community warned of the conflict escalating and sought diplomatic solutions.
We're in conversations with the government of Israel. And again, I emphasize its right to defend its citizens and our determination to make sure that they're able to do that. But we also don't want to see the conflict escalate.
A few days later, the Israeli military carried out an airstrike in Lebanon's capital Beirut in retaliation for the Golan Heights attack. The strike killed one of Hezbollah's top military commanders, Fuad Shukr. Hours after the strike in Beirut, an attack in the Iranian capital Tehran killed Ismail Haniyeh, the top political leader of Hamas. Iran and Hamas blamed Israel for Haniyeh's death. Israel has not publicly commented. On August 1st, Hezbollah leader Hassan Nasrallah said the killing of one of their top military officials escalated the conflict into a different phase. That same day, Iran's supreme leader said it was Tehran's duty to seek revenge over Haniyeh's killing. Haniyeh had been in Tehran to attend the inauguration of Iran's new president. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu warned that the following days would be challenging, but said Israel was ready.
ישראל נמצאת במוכנות גבוהה מאוד לכל תרחיש, הן בהגנה, הן בהתקפה. אנחנו נגבה מחיר כבד מאוד על כל מעשה תוקפנות נגדנו, מכל זירה שהיא.
Days after the killings in Tehran and Beirut, Israel and the US were on high alert for a retaliatory strike from Iran and pro-Iranian militias. The US moved more military assets into the region, including 2 aircraft carriers and a submarine. Tensions remained high, with Israel and Hezbollah continuing to exchange cross-border fire, as Washington and its allies ramped up diplomacy efforts and a push for a ceasefire deal in Gaza. Despite the efforts, a deal was not reached.
Our message is simple, it's clear, and it's urgent. We need to get the ceasefire and hostage agreement over the finish line, and we need to do it now.
Both sides may still have room to de-escalate. When Iran launched a large-scale missile and drone attack in retaliation for an Israeli strike on a group of its military officers in April, Tel Aviv responded with a limited strike on Iran, after which both sides moved on. Ceasefire talks are set to continue, with Hamas, which hasn't attended previous talks, saying it would send delegates.
Jesus, you reign on high, Savior, God and King, for eternity. Awesome.